I'm Mr. Saem, and today we'll explore how to master your IBDP Digital Society Extended Essay step by step from topic to top grade. Here we go.
An extended essay is your independent research project that you have to work on. It's self-directed. Yes, the supervisor has to guide you, okay, but not to a lot of extent. That's very important. And it has to be a 4,000 words approximately. Okay, it's not definite has to be 4,000. It could be 3,800. It could go to 4,100. But it's not better that you remain within this boundary. You don't exceed much. ये बड़ा जरूरी है. ठीक है. Key things. It has to be independent research. You have to make sure that you do it independently. Okay, you do your own investigation totally on your own. The topic that you choose, schema discussion background, which is very important, which most of you would obviously have selected. We'll talk about that as well. Later, obviously, in the discussion as well, I hope it's not boring, but we'll try to make it effective. Academic writing का बात हम इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि when you're writing this kind of essay, you have to make sure it has to have a very professional and formal touch. It has to be structured in such a way that it's something like a university-style research paper. Okay, if you haven't seen a university-style research paper, I can share some with you so that you can have a better idea how does a university-style research paper actually looks like. If I start showing you right now, obviously lamba ho jayega. So we can probably share some with you, and I'll do that. Supervisor support has to be there. But it has to be limited to see how things are going on. It's not like a day-to-day supervision and assistance that has to be done. Assessment criteria, obviously it's externally assessed, okay? You specifically have to work on focus research analysis, ठीक है ना? So, इसमें basically you have to know about what focus is. So, जब हम बात करते हैं assessment criteria की, okay, please listen carefully. We are talking about is focus and method. Okay, I'm talking about this. Focus का मतलब क्या है? So, focus का actually मतलब है कि we have to have clarity of the research question. That's what focus is. And obviously this also includes the appropriateness of the research approach. So, it's very important that the clarity of the research question is there. Okay. Obviously, knowledge and understanding होना चाहिए इसके लिए. Okay. Whatever topic that we've chosen on subject area, how much depth of the content do we know? That's very important. Critical thinking इसके बारे में होना चाहिए होगी. ठीक है ना? So yes, this is very important. It's a core component, obviously 3 points award होते हैं, आपको idea होगा इस बात का, okay, combined with TOKSA, combined with that. So, promotion of independent inquiry, yes, your extended essay does foster your self-directed learning. आपने independently एक topic को research करना, and this is actually going to help you a lot in your higher education. Because obviously research papers were there even like 4 to 5 decades back, in fact even more. Essay is something new. But frankly speaking, with the advent of AI, things have changed a lot. The way you carry out the research, the amount of in-depth knowledge that you can now get, the way you can actually compare and contrast your perspective with someone else's perspective, बहुत कुछ change हो चुका है. I think so it will become a lot more easy, but at the same time, now a lot more professionalism would be required from you. Okay, so as far as the content is concerned, as far as the presentation is concerned, keep in mind that now you have to do it in that way. Okay, it's not the same as 5 years back. Okay. Development of research skills, yes, obviously, we just talked about it. Extended essay helps you to get advancement in the research abilities. You learn more about how to evaluate things. Okay. evaluation का आपको idea हो जाएगा में that होगा. So preparation for higher education, yes, obviously you are in college, you will be in university. This is one of the way that you will be able to prepare for higher education as well. Integration with core subjects, yes, core IB values. Now, when we talk about integration with core IB values, what we're talking about is that globally how we can actually talk about things. So, when you communicate internationally, so one of the best thing about the IB program is that we always keep the global perspective in mind. So, whenever you do any sort of research, you have to make sure that you somehow keep this in mind, that you try to talk about it in a global perspective, not just limited. Okay, now this depends from topic to topic. ये बस देखना पड़ेगा. Demonstration of academic excellence, yes, obviously. Now, what do you mean by demonstration of academic excellence? Saad, I'll keep on talking. What do you think, sir?
Yes, sir.
Are you back, Saad?
No, sir.
We're not back. We're not back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what do you think? So, why are we talking about demonstration of academic excellence over here?
What's it?
Yeah.
एक मिनट सर, मैं थोड़ी सी जरा आवाज ज्यादा कर रहा था सर.
जी जी.
Yes, sir. I couldn't hear the question, sir. Could you repeat, please?
I'm saying, look, I was referring to demonstration of academic excellence. जिसका obviously मतलब ये है कि we have to see that the extended essay that you're writing showcases students' scholarship and dedication. This demonstrates that how much in-depth knowledge you have, you've researched. Okay, it shows the perseverance that you have. Okay. Now,
Yes.
perseverance, when we talk about perseverance, what do we mean by perseverance? Tell me. I mean, while we're working with extended, so obviously you will face lots of difficulties. Okay, you're finding of information, understanding complex ideas. You have to manage it and everything. Okay, perseverance actually means obviously you know it. It means you're not giving up. If you have some setbacks, you are unable to learn something, you will obviously keep on doing it again and again. So you will see yourself. Enough perseverance will be developed with this. You get my point? Okay. Opportunity for specialization, yeah, for very, very, very important thing. So while you will be doing this, maybe many of you would get an idea, okay, you know, this is something that I want to specialize in. Okay, that's in AI, medicine, AI, around you, wherever it is, you will have an idea. Okay, preparation of extended essay, so obviously when you will be preparing for it, it will boost your confidence, and if someone has to ask you some oral question extempore, आप आराम से उनको you can talk about it. So it's not that you just documenting something, you are getting all that knowledge, और यही आपका एडवांटेज होना चाहिए इसमें कि जितना भी अपने एक्सटेंडेड एसे का whatever you written down, you prepared. If I ask you, or anyone asks you to explain what you've done, you should be able to summarize, explain everything over there. Okay, because this was a part of it. Key skills developed throughout the extended, so obviously thinking. I want to go into a lot of depth on this. George, you're totally correct. Okay, Aligo, are you following us over here? I think it's just very complicated. You only know this now. Very good. Okay. I'm about career research and thinking skills, critical analysis and inquiry, obviously. Critical analysis is when you do your own critical thinking, and then you do an inquiry based on that. You will evaluate resources, okay? You will evaluate by looking into different references, which are on the web, which are not on the web. You can carry out and you should carry it by means of research. Ayan as well, मैं appreciate करता हूँ कि आपका IB program में Ayan with you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exactly. The primary research is a definite part of it. Keep it in mind, okay? Developing focus research question. So, पहले मैं उसकी बात कर सकते हैं कि we have to develop a focus research question. So, self management हमारा फायदा होगा, like how planning and organization, time management, perseverance, we talk about it, practicing self motivation and mindful throughout the process. Okay? Yeah, practicing self motivation is very important. You have to have this. This goes on for 2 months, 3 months. You have to make sure that you keep on self-motivating yourself. Mindfulness throughout the process. You have to make sure that whenever you're running around and if you get into keep a diary, keep a book. If something new comes in your mind, bring it out, write it down. Use a phone, use anything where you can note down things. It's very important. Okay, so this is throughout mindfulness is throughout the process. Ongoing reflection, very important. You have an idea what reflection actually is, yes or no? What is reflection, by the way? Yes, what is reflection, by the way?
सर के लाइक आपके पास जो पहले नॉलेज है आप उसके ऊपर अपने रिफ्लेक्ट कर पाए कि एक्सप्लेन कैसे करें
Right. Yes, absolutely. Bilkul. What you've learned, okay, about the topic, okay,
या
how your ideas have developed over time, ठीक है ना? So how science इसमें आता है ना? Okay, improve किस तरह आपने किया, okay. So this is all it. You have to come back and you have to see how things are going on, okay. So हम जब बात करते हैं रिफ्लेक्शन, हम कहते हैं रिफ्लेक्शन इज द ओनली अप्रोच जो एटीएम को पता है आपको, अप्रोचेस टू लर्निंग. सो रिफ्लेक्शन इज वन ऑफ द अप्रोचेस टू लर्निंग जिसकी हम बात करते हैं, जो डायरेक्टली असेस होती है बाय एक्सटेंडेड से. ओके, so reflection होगा ठीक है, ongoing process, reflecting during the research process, reflecting at the end. So obviously हर स्टेज पे रिफ्लेक्शन हैज टू बी देयर. Okay, and maybe you have to come back, improve it, and go back again. This cycle, the feedback cycle goes on. Okay, ATL की बात कर लिया, approaches to learning. Reflection is the only ATL skill directly assess. Students document reflection using the reflection on planning and progress form. ठीक है, right? ये मैं आपसे शेयर कर दूंगा. Reflection highlight intellectual and personal during the right. Okay, so yeah, so you already know this. Maybe any if you have not started, pick up a topic, start writing. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, let me come to choice of first say yeah. Okay, so focus on academic subjects, requires knowledge of subject specific theories, methods, tools. So choice obviously of an essay बहुत important है. What will you choosing? And I'm pretty sure most of you have chosen. Choosing the right topic is crucial for successful extended essay. Obviously something has to be of your personal interest. It has to have relevance. Is it feasible for you to do it? Because maybe in English learning you don't really have a lot of information available for that particular topic that you're trying to research on. So it's very important that you choose something जिसमें आपको उसकी information मिल सके. ये very important है. It is important to avoid topics that are overly narrow or well documented. ठीक है. क्या मतलब है इसका? ये second paragraph का. Let me engage you as well. पहले obviously जिस तरह तन्वीर ने बिल्कुल बात की है कि it should not narrow and it should not stop somewhere where you cannot get more information. Okay, so it might even happen that you choose a topic and you realize after 1 or 2 weeks that this is something that I can't do. Okay, but obviously इसलिए देखने के हम पहले सोच लें कि the topic that we've chosen can we actually do a lot of research regarding to that. So
Yes, sir.
the journal section was say we're planning on creating a detailed overview question. So what we're talking about over here is the outline should include key sections, headings, subheadings. So आप जो भी ये document कर रहे हो, obviously it should be properly documented. It's very important that it should be done like that. As a research process, the student should remember to continuously refine and update their outline. This dynamic approach ensures that the essay remains focused and coherent. Writing should be an ongoing process, allowing students to develop their ideas. Even about whenever you come across something, make sure that you note it down and that you can upgrade it, right? And it very important chीज़ है, let me not forget that. While you're going through the extended essay and writing everything down, be sure that you are not contradicting your statements somewhere in the middle. You can. It's not that you can't. But make sure if you do that, तो उसको कोई a proper perspective आप देखो. Okay? This हम discuss किया हमेशा कि everything can have an advantage and disadvantage. But if there is a disadvantage, you have to explain why it is. Even if there is 0.1% case where the disadvantage is there, we will elaborate it. Because if you don't elaborate, it will sound like as if it's a contradiction, and it will somehow not impress the person reading it out. कि आपने अभी तो कहा था कि ये point कुछ और है, now you're saying something else. Unless and until you explain it. Because the person who's reading it out doesn't know your perspective. So आपने इस तरह explain करना है कि दूसरे बंदे को obviously definitely समझ आए कि yes, this is what you're trying to say. So miscommunication can be a big issue here. So make sure this does not happen. Okay, to maintain clarity and accessibility is important to use simple language and explain complex technical terms. Addition should strong advised to incorporate in-text citations as they write. So we talked about citations so many times. Okay, so we have to cite every time. The credibility of your research paper has to be there. We will never compromise on that. आप कहीं से उठाओ, ये भी नहीं कह रहा कि I forgot. This is where I'm emphasizing on the fact you have to keep on writing down. You took a reference, note it down somewhere. If you are not doing it right away, कि मैंने ये यहाँ से reference किया था, and I'll have to update. अपने डायरी की जगह हाइलाइटर से यूज कर लो, जो मर्जी करो, make sure that you can't forget things. Because once you submit, obviously, these things will matter a lot. I get to my point. This is why I wanted to discuss this with you today. Because these things are very, very important. I have any question till now? What I'm trying to say? I am Tamil. Saad?
Yes,
Up to
sir.
you. Could you hear class? Well, I'll leave you there. Zania is not here? Zania.
I'm here.
You here? Yes, any question to the introduction. Now let's let's break it up. Okay, so we'll have an introduction. So whenever you have an introduction, we have to make sure we give an overview of the topic. Okay, we briefly introduce the subject area. Okay, somehow if the background information has to be provided, okay. We have to explain that somehow why the following topic is important. Okay, we will state the research question. Okay, we will also it's a question and not a statement. If you could make sure we have statement or questions could differentiate, that's very important. Okay, and एक outline उसमें आप दे सकते हो उसमें, ठीक है? You can give an outline in your introduction that your extended S का structure क्या होगा. Maybe this could be a roadmap of how things will be organized. This is how your introduction has to be done. Then you have the body. The body obviously includes everything. It includes starting to develop your argument. एक sequence में आप जाओगे, point by point, you have to state your argument. You have to give the जो भी आप analyze करते हो, उसका evidence आपको देना पड़ेगा. You have to make sure all that analysis evidence they come from a reliable source. Okay, they could be any academic article, report, whatever. Okay, so you have to actually make sure you critically examine all this. और body में क्या सकता है आपका? So you obviously इसमें आप real life examples भी use करोगे. Whatever case studies you have, news events you have, actual examples जो भी होंगे डिजिटल सोसाइटी की और टेक्नोलॉजीज की वो आप यूज करोगे इसमें. Okay, if you are going to make any sort of illustration, okay, but by the way we can somehow there are some tools in which we can make illustrations. Not through AI, through AI भी आप कर सकते हो, but I would like you to avoid it because आपने काम को कितनी illustration नहीं करेगी, not much. So we can use some application tools to make illustrations. So you can also explain some points through illustration, which is a very good way. Okay, text all the time is not a very good way. So try to make your illustrations. Again, very important point. Since you're working for digital society, it's a subject that deals with technologies. The way you present your work has to be different from the way a student in maths does it. Keep this in mind. Okay, so your presentation skills, technological skills should be more. They will be appreciated. Keep this in mind. Okay. आपकी बॉडी में जाहिर है सब कुछ वो जो आप लिख रहे हो उसमें जो क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग में बात की थी हमने comparison of different perspectives, we were referring to that. Okay, we were talking about the limitations, we were talking about alternate explanations, जो भी है, all that will be coming within our body, right? I didn't write it much over here, but I hope you get the point. So obviously you know what the body actually is. Okay? Okay. I will provide with separate notes of this as well. Actually the body as well. That आपको idea of the body में अपने क्या करना है. So introduction to the key concepts and frameworks. बात के लिए contextual background, provide background information. Presentation of evidence, ये बात मैंने कर ली आपसे. Critical analysis, discussion of ethical and social implications. Examine ethical issues such as data privacy, bias issues. So you can go through all this. And answering the research question, make sure you've done that properly. Okay, formatives. Yeah. So yes, formatting. Since you are using digital technologies and you be a digital society student, it will be very important for you that आपकी formatting again should be one level up than other students who are doing maths, physics, or whatever. So make sure you organize your sections properly, headings, subheadings, styles को use कर लो MS Word में, diagrams मैं बात कर चुका हूँ आपसे, flow charts भी, okay, you can use all that. Always cite बात कर चुके हैं. Okay, example, वैसे बात की है इसमें कि facial recognition and privacy, body में include definition of facial recognition system, case study, China's public surveillance network. Technical explanation of how systems collect and process data, ethical discussion, mass surveillance versus security, stakeholder analysis, citizens, governments, evaluation. So you see, this is one of the examples that if you have a topic like of this one, this is what the body part should include. Okay, it could be a bit different, but it should be something like that. Okay, what is conclusion? Obviously, you know what conclusion is. So you have to summarize your key findings and arguments. You have to make sure that you conclude by giving your own perspective. Okay, so whatever the limitations were, whatever you think it was right or wrong, अब आपने उसकी बात करनी है. Okay, it doesn't matter what your point of view is, but it has to be there. Okay. So, while students might draw conclusions throughout their essay based on their analysis, find and comprehend. Right. फिर हम बात कर रहे हैं ये somehow double twist हो गया. Okay, well, yeah, we talked about it, right? So, you know what appendix and bibliography is? Yes, appendix obviously पता है ना. Appendix होता है आपको जो end पे आता है ना, which it's a reference to that. Okay, so the appendix is optional and must be placed after the bibliography. Keep in mind, placing it before the bibliography is considered poor presentation and will lose marks. Keep in mind. The appendix may include supporting materials such as raw data, surveys, interviews, and all that. Moving important, so you keep in mind these are important. Reviewers must list all cited sources using consistent referencing style. Okay, इससे मैंने कहा ना मैं आपसे अपना कोई रिसर्च पेपर ग्रुप में शेयर करता हूँ, so that you have an idea कि appendix and bibliography आपने किस तरह cite करनी है. I'll share one or two or three examples with you. Past example होंगे. It doesn't mean you really have to copy paste the exact thing. No, ये is a reference. So उसमें इस तरह से मैंने इस तरह की है. Keep that in mind. Just a reference होगा. Okay. Research and the sources. Yeah, we actually talked about this before. The primary research can be used to get the first-hand accounts, surveys, interviews, and experiments. We've talked about this in the class as well. Okay, secondary sources can be. You know what the primary sources are?
That is created first-handed.
First-handed, yeah.
Just like the experiments and original research papers and some historical documents.
Exactly, very good. Ayan, elaborate. Let me say, Karen, whether Ayan would elaborate.
Yeah, sir. Basically, primary research is the research you do on your own.
Absolutely correct. Good research. Right. Secondary, we have use कर सकते हैं. Obviously, secondary में हम बहुत depend करेंगे. We have to do it because there's a lot of information that we will not be able to get through the primary. So we have to use secondary for that as well. Evaluating the credibility and reliability of these sources is crucial to ensure accuracy and validity. The integrity of your information tends to be one of the most important things. I've talked about that. So we have to make sure that it's credible, it's reliable. We talked about credibility, accuracy, reliability, panel when I was doing IGCSE with you guys. So credibility actually means the information that you're getting, are you getting from a credible source? You can't say DN के सब मैंने तो एक website open की थी and I just got the information from there, and that website was coming from someone who was just doing it for hobby, just for fun. If it's coming from someone who has vast years of experience and has a proper degree in that particular field, then it's credible. Okay, credibility also is it coming from a particular source that has, like for example, a university as an institute. If it's coming through that, that's also credible. Even if the original, the roots of the person, of the name is not known, but if it's coming through a reference, it's still credible. Yes, get the point. Okay? For example, let's do a lot of information nowadays is not credible, but let's say if a report comes on BBC.com, on their website, so we will not be concerned about the fact that it's coming from which particular person or the reporter or whatever. Since it's on the BBC.com, it's credible. Get the point. So there could be multiple places where credibility can be talked about. Right. So right, the बात होगी हमारी इसकी credibility की भी इसको इजाफे कर लो. Okay. The writing and revision process crucial aspect, right? So yeah, writing and revising. So yes, I've talked about this before as well, that we have to make sure we should keep on writing, and whatever is going on, every progress, we have to keep on writing it down. Self-assessment actually means is that we should be able to go through whatever we have written whenever we have time, and do our own assessment on what we have done. It should be related to the information. It can be related to the grammar, the style. So there are lots of AI tools that will actually maintain your text. You guys probably know better than me, and humanize it, but make sure that आपकी सारी information AI के through change ना हो जाए. Please don't do that. Once you're writing it down, it should be yours. So in order to remove the grammatical mistakes, it should not be replaced by AI version of text that would be wrong. So उसको polish करना ये अब आपको ज़्यादा बेहतर पता है. This is very very important. मैं बार-बार repeat कर रहा हूँ. Your text should not be replaced by AI text. Please keep that in mind. Okay? I would not be able to read every paragraph of yours and verify it. So let's be honest, okay, and let's follow that. I'm getting my point through a bit of the grammar, but not to be replaced by AI. How can we work on that? Okay, so we'll work on that. Okay? So, yeah, understanding and creating criteria, okay. So we will edit some essay will be like this cover page, the contents page, introduction, main body, conclusion, and biography होगी आपकी, ठीक है. And overall, yes. Okay, so you will be guided by your teacher, obviously your supervisor, जो भी मैं होगा, for example, I can meet you getting started, yes, midway and final, right? So I want to discuss that with you. ये अभी बेटा इसको टाइम अभी लग जाएगा. Meanwhile, चलो let me finish as much as I can. ये कभी काफी लंबा है, मेरे से हाफ में पहुंच रहा हूँ मैं. So अगली बात हो गई आगे. अच्छा, meanwhile मैं इसको pause कर सकता हूँ recording को, because this is again very very important. These sound like very obvious points, but they're very important. Sometimes points which are very obvious are not very obvious. Keep in mind. Being curious, obviously, the topic that you've chosen, you have to be curious about it. Your questions might evolve as you go on. It should be open. Okay, but this is related to being curious. You have to be patient. You have to make sure that this all will take time. You cannot do it in compressed hours. Okay, some students think extended essay can be done in compressed hours. No, it cannot be done. Okay, because if you do it in compressed hours, you will not be able to have feedback properly done. Okay, and with Americana, you will have lots of points coming in mind. Over time, you will miss out that. Okay, so yeah. Reflective feedback की बात होगी. So you have to make sure it's reflective. It's a process in which you get more information about the research question that you have. Okay, right? Be ethical. Always cite your sources. There's a points I have repeated again and again, but they're very important. That's why I have. Okay, broad topics and specific research questions. I have some of them. Okay. They're just an example. I'm not saying you have to use all of them. Like social media and political activism. Possible research question क्या हो सकता है? How Instagram has been used to mobilize political protest in Iran Britain. Streaming platforms and media. How has TikTok changed the way Gen Z consumes news compared to traditional videos in the US? When we were in school, actually, I did somehow brought up some a lot of topics that digital society में आप use कर सकते हो. Okay, somehow इसमें तो even आपका AI can do that as well. It can move it. So just for the topics की बात कर रहा हूँ. Okay, somehow I don't like the idea of using AI in all the research all the time. Keep in mind we don't do that. Okay, then we have, yeah, so you have an example, I'll share this with you. You can go through this and I'll share the previous one with you. Okay, fine, talked about.